Working the night shift had never been my favorite part of the job, but it was a necessity to pay the bills. I was the only one in the office, and the darkness outside seemed to press against the windows, creating an eerie sense of isolation. The flickering fluorescent lights did little to dispel the unease that had settled over me. My co-workers had all gone home hours ago, leaving me alone with the hum of the computer and the soft whir of the air conditioning. It was a quiet night with no urgent tasks to complete, and I passed the time by browsing the internet and sipping on my lukewarm coffee. Around midnight, a thunderstorm rolled in, casting the office into shadow. The rain lashed against the windows, and the wind howled through the building, creating an unsettling cacophony of sounds. I had always been afraid of thunderstorms, and the darkness and isolation only amplified my unease. I tried to stay focused on my work, but a sense of dread settled over me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I glanced over my shoulder at the empty office, but there was nothing there. I chalked it up to my overreactive imagination and tried to dismiss the unsettling thoughts. As the night wore on, the storm grew more intense, and the office seemed to crack and groan in protest. I was tempted to call someone, have a conversation that might ease my growing anxiety, but I knew everyone I could call was asleep. I was truly low, and the thought weighed heavily on me. Just as I was beginning to hope that the storm will pass and the night will end without incident, I heard a strange noise coming from the hallway. It was a soft, shuffling sound like footsteps. I froze in my chair, straining my ears to listen. The sound grew closer, and I could hear the faintest whisperings, as if someone were speaking just out of my earshot. I grabbed my phone, my hands trembling, and turned on the flashlight. I cautiously got up and walked into the hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. The office was empty, and the flickering light only cast eerie shadows on the walls. I couldn't see anyone, but shuffling and whispering continued. As I moved down the hallway, the noise seemed to be coming from the back room. Pushed open the door and shone my flashlight inside. The room was empty, but I could hear the whispering more clearly now. It was as if someone were speaking in a language I didn't understand. I took a step closer to the source of the noise and gasped in horror. The whispering was coming from the old, disused landline phone on the table. The phone's cord was dangling, and the receiver was off the hook. I had no explanation for how it could be making those noises, but I knew it was possible. I reached for the phone and was about to hang it up when a voice broke, a voice that was not my own, a voice that sent shivers down my spine. "If this is," it said, the words dripping with malevolence. Terrified, I hung up the phone and rushed out of the break room, leaving the eerie whispering behind. I turned to my desk and considered calling the police. But what could I tell them? There was no one in the office but me. I couldn't explain the strange occurrences with the phone. I tried to focus on my work, to push the fear from my mind, but the darkness outside only seemed to grow thicker, and the storm raged on. The hours ticked by slowly, and the unease in the office only intensified. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. Something sinister was lurking in the shadow. Around 2 a.m., I decided to take a break and make some fresh coffee. I headed to the break room, the unsettling encounter with the phone all but forgotten. As I poured coffee, I heard a noise from the supply closet nearby. It was a soft, rasping sound, like something scraping against the floor. I opened the door to the closet and shone my flashlight inside. To my horror, I saw a trail of blood leading to a corner of the closet. The blood stains were fresh, and the trail seemed to disappear into the vent in the floor. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to comprehend what I was seeing. I knew I had to call the police now. This was not a figment of my imagination. Something had happened in this office, and I was in danger. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, voice trembling as I explained the situation. The operator assured me that help was on the way, but as I hung up the phone, chill realization washed over me. The trail of blood in the closet was leading to my office. I was not alone in this building. Someone or something was getting closer. I turned off the light and locked the door to my office. Huddling in the darkness, waiting for the police to arrive. The storm outside had reached its peak, and the wind and rain seemed to beat against windows with malevolent force. I could hear the shuffling footsteps outside my door, and the whispering had returned, louder and more sinister than before. It was as if a horde of voices was chanting in unison, a chant that was not of this world. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed a heavy book from my desk, ready to defend myself if necessary. The footsteps grew closer, and the door handle rattled. I held my breath, ready for whatever horror would come. Just as the door began to open, the police arrived, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The intruder was revealed to be a deranged individual who had been hiding in the building. They were promptly arrested, and the trail of blood led to a hidden chamber where they had been staying. As the police conducted their investigation, I was left shaken and traumatized. The horror I had experienced during the night shift alone at work was beyond anything I could have imagined. I had learned a lesson about the dangers that could lurk in the most unexpected places, and the importance of staying vigilant even in the most familiar of surroundings. As I left the office that night, I couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness still held secrets that I would never fully understand. The night had left me with a chilling lesson about the terrors that would unfold in the dead of night, and the importance of trusting your instinct when faced with the unknown.